Smoke signals from around the campfire.
Hello, welcome everyone. Good to see everyone here. You've just been listening to Lucy Hill, who is one of the musical performers. And I have Mr. Sirius Jones. Do you want to say hello, Sirius?
Yes, good evening. How are you all doing? I can see a few names that I recognise because I've got my glasses on.
Yeah, Sirius is
How you
DJing.
doing?
He's a serious DJ and serious in every respect. But yeah, Sirius tracked down a case of mine, which I left on the railway network, and he managed to break his way into the depot at Swansea and find my case and get it back to me within hours of losing it. So props to this man. So he's going to be playing lots of music at
well, actually, guys, what I've got is 2 copies of Highway Hell, of which there's one particular track that I really like, so I'm going to play it one after the other.
This is AC/DC for anyone who doesn't know their Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell.
Oh, it's a great. It's a no. I'm jesting a little bit, but you might get it twice, but who knows?
New maps. Oh, great to see so many people on the call. This was a very last minute thing, actually, to bring together the contributors, performers, whatever you want to call them, on a spontaneous Zoom call. So the idea was only mooted about 3 days ago. So thank you for responding. And some of you will be talking about your sessions, others will just be tuning in. And good to see Lucy's just joined us. We just played a track of yours, Lucy, which you sent me on WhatsApp. I hope it was okay to play it.
Of course. I mean, it was a very early rendition. I have to say it's come along a little bit since then, but thank you for the support and the enthusiasm.
Very much looking forward to hearing your session. So yeah, still people joining us. So we're just going to make small talk for a few minutes.
Yeah, no, that is an Amazonian tribal medicine song from a Brazilian Amazonian tribe that I've worked with and visited, and they're called the Huniquin. And they work primarily with ayahuasca, but a lot of other sacred plant medicines. And that is one of their many chants. And the language is called Hachiquin. And basically most of their sacred chants and prayers are all devoted to they're very shamanic, so they're devoted to the elements, they're devoted to the stars, the moon, praising consciousness, praising the earth. They're very beautiful and very powerful.
Thank you for that.
Do you work with bands ever?
I haven't. Basically, until Pete's invited me to come along to this wonderful event, I've only sung on my retreats and in ceremonies and in singing circles. So slightly nervous about being in front of a microphone, in front of lots of people, not in a ritualistic setting, but I'm sure we'll make it work.
Well, this segues quite nicely into you maybe saying another minute or two to talk about
Sure.
what you're saying. Let's go with you first, Lucy.
Great. So I'm Lucy. It's lovely to meet you all. I'm really looking forward to the event. Thank you so much, Pete, for inviting me. I've always had a deep connection to music, and when I met Pete many years ago, 20 years ago now, I was the DJ then, and over the years kind of found my voice, and I've actually got a retreat company, so I've spent a lot of time in the yoga world, and through that have really connected to sacred sounds and mantra. And then over the many years finally found the courage to start to share my singing voice. And what really helped me was to know that really it was all devotional and not about a performance. And as long as I can remember that it's all about sharing and devotion and also for myself, because it's a great medicine for me, then everything's always all right. And yeah, then I did a lot of work with ayahuasca, and I went to the Amazon and ran some medicine retreats. And then that opened my voice in a different way and gave me access to a different type of prayer. So over time, in the last few years, I've incorporated these different flavors into then what is kind of my medicine music. So, I mean, they're quite simple, the songs that I sing, and I do invite people to sing along because they are medicine for the heart, and they really are, all of them designed to open the heart and bring us into our devotional space. I've done a lot of kirtan and singing circles, and the best thing about those kind of spaces, as I know we've got some devotional chanting and some Sanskrit chanting and voice activation work at the weekend, and yes, I'm sure they'll be able to explain it better than I, but for me, the act of singing, for the joy of singing, for the love of life, for the connection and the medicine that song and the voice work actually can be for us. I always say that really for me, primarily the chanting and the song is for myself, and I really believe that the vocal cords are our own unique tuning fork. So anybody that doesn't sing, I would really encourage you to try a little, because there's a very deep medicine in our own sound, and I believe that our own vocal cords and our own voices are attuned to our frequency specifically for our own healing, and then in turn for others. So for me, just remembering that singing for the love of it is the most important piece.
Yeah, but you're also doing a session with Lorna.
With Ruth Lorna.
Yeah, Ruth Lorna.
Yeah, I think we're I'm not, as I remember, I think we're going back to back. So I've got a dear friend, Ruth, who I've known through kind of spiritual work and medicine world, and yeah, she's a beautiful singer and voice kind of activator. She does a lot of singing circles, and she really encourages others to connect to their voices, and then for us all to sing together in prayer. So yeah, we'll be there together, and I'm sure, you know, there won't be just the one opportunity. We're always open to singing together if anybody wishes during the weekend.
You have the magical voice, Lucy.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, it's taken me literally until I was, I think, probably 38. I'm 44. So it took me until I was 38, 39 to even dare to sing in front of other people. And yeah, so it's a big moment actually to sing in front of a group of people that I've never met. And so thank you for welcoming me. And yeah, I don't feel worried about it, but I am conscious it's different. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much. So I'd like to invite Jessica, who's our firestarter, fire ceremony, which you did last year, to come on and talk to us about what you're offering.
Okay, hello Pete, and hello everyone.
Good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. I'm going to be leading or making a fire ceremony, and the reason I use fire is it's the quickest way to transform energy, and in us we have heavy energy and light energy, and both are okay, but the lighter the energy that we can hold, the more lightly we can tread on the earth, which means we send less ripples out, and maybe we're more conscious on the things that we do and say and how it affects the world around us. And what else? Energy is, because people quite often say, what is energy? And so energy is like when you walk into a room and everyone's sad and you can feel it, or everyone's happy, and you can kind of feel it without talking to people, and you feel it with your whole body, with all your senses. So shamanically, that's what I'm working with, and that's what I'm teaching people to work with. And fire is a very beautiful way to shift energy and transform it. And then also at the fire, we will be passing around a Pachamama stick. And this is where you get the opportunity to blow your dreams for the children of the future in, for the world that you want them to inherit. And one of the teachings is that we can't always dream from what we know, because we're limited by our past and our stories and by what's here now. So we call upon our future selves, and we call down a quantum piece of energy so that we can dream something that's like more than we can imagine now. And we blow it into the Pachamama stick. And then we also stand together in a community. And I think there's something really powerful when everyone's doing their work together. They're releasing things that aren't serving them. And then we all dream together as a collective, and we dream something new into being. And for me, I'm really interested in teaching about community. So it feels really nice to be at Campout, because I feel like that's a similar thing we're doing. And the other thing I'm going to do is do a journey to find your power animal. So I will guide you on a journey down into your imagination, into your underworld, to find a power animal, and then bring you back. And then when you've got your power animal, I will teach you a way of working with your animal. So you will find what its instinct is, so that the instinct can teach you a new way of being in your body and how you behave. And it's kind of self-empowering, because it's how it speaks to you. It's not how it speaks to anyone else. It's how it is for you. And they can become really amazing guides and help you change your life, change patterns. And for me, shamanism I feel like I've been doing it all my life as a child, but I didn't know. And it's about connecting with nature, and internal nature and external nature, and realizing that we are part of this whole system, and that we are animals as well. I feel like I know for me, I forgot I was in my head so much, but being more in my body, I feel more on the earth and connected to the earth. So I teach that as well. I run a medicine wheel. So I suppose at Campout, if anyone wants to ask me any questions about that as well, I'm always really happy to share. But yeah, for me, it's about opening our hearts and coming to community. So I'm really grateful to be coming to Campout. Thank you.
Great that you're coming back, and I
know,
actually
pleased.
do a quick. And you came to Paros to do the beacon
Yeah.
light last autumn, which was fantastic. So I am going to do a quick share of, it's only a couple of minutes, clip of the ceremony last year, actually.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Yeah, very quick.
That's lovely. Thank you.
So Tom's iPhone is here. Tom, are you reading us? This is Tom from Three Pools.
Hello. Yeah, I'm here.
Great to have you on the call. We're really looking forward to coming into your farm. I've been there a few times. If you'd like to welcome everyone and say a little bit about the farm, that would be great.
Yeah, of course. Welcome everybody. I'm just in my room now. If you look out over the farm, give you a little view. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's absolute pleasure and honor to have you guys come in here. I've been looking at some of the material, bits and bobs, and the lineup, and yeah, it just seems like something that aligns with the whole farm ethos, the values, what we're doing. So very excited for it. It's a little bit different from what I'd say we normally do, like our sort of background and main focus for the events is quite sort of like more heavy dance music and yeah, sort of like electronic dance music is focus. So I think this is going to offer something to the people that work here and everyone that's coming, a real opportunity to get involved in something a little bit different. And yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be an event that the people that live here can sort of immerse themselves in and just be surrounded by nice people that are sort of engaged in what we're trying to do. So yeah, really looking forward to it. We're also going to be doing a farm tour, so giving people an opportunity to walk around the farm with myself and some of the other people that live here. We'll sort of like go out as a team. We've got one scheduled in for the Thursday, and we also might do a little pop-up one later on in the weekend, and just sharing what we do. And that is we got into it as permaculture. That's sort of like that terminology has now been sort of like changed into a bit of like regenerative farming, but we're still using the permaculture principles in our decision-making process. And we're going to be serving a lot of the produce from the farm at our food stall. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So would you like to give a quick plug for your bell tents? Because I know you have a few still.
Oh yeah, so yeah, we've got in our campsite, we've got bell tents. We've got 15 of them. I think we've got about 6 or 7 of those left. So if you know anyone, they're pretty great. Just means that you don't have to bring any tents, any sleeping stuff. You got bedding in there, some mattresses. The mattresses are on the floor. You got mats in there. You got some lights. So all you really need to bring is a toothbrush. And we also have our double mezzanine cabin still available, which has 2 double beds over 2 floors. Well, the bottom floor and then a mezzanine. They still use the compost loos and the showers in the campsite, but they are beautiful hand-built cabins built by ourselves. So we've got one of those left. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing some of the stuff that you guys are bringing, and almost seeing it as a bit of a little like maybe like a cleanse for the land as well, after all of our sort of like techno and drum and bass nights that we have here. That you guys are going to bring like a wholesome kind of like vibe. And, I think the trees and the birds and the animals, even the insects and stuff, are going to appreciate some of that. So yeah, loving it.
Brilliant. And right on cue, Mr. Sirius Jones, who I've already introduced.
Good evening, Tom.
Is a special offer that you're going to be making.
It's Tom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Tom, if you can reserve one of the bell tents, I'm going to pay for that, and we're going to put it up as like a sponsored, like a prize for someone to like earn, or earn by writing in a letter to us and saying why they want to. So they're going to have to buy tickets, but I'm going to come and pay you for one of those bell tents.
Yeah.
And it's going to go down under my name as like the Sirius Jones and Radio Turquoise tent, because I'm going to be playing some music. And did you mention the word house music? House music as well. Yeah. Oh right, okay. Well, you might get some of that off me.
Yeah.
Everything from AC/DC to the Clash to lots of deep purple,
all sorts. Reggae.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. So look out tomorrow. There'll be the offer coming from this direction, from a serious direction here on my left, to offer a bell tent to those who can, to the person who can write in with the best reason why they should get the free bell tent.
Wow. All right. Awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, Tom. Asterix, good to see you on the call. Do you want to talk about food? This is David Bamford, aka Asterix.
Hello there. Hi. I'm catering at this event, and I lived in the Middle East for 5 years. And while I was living out in the Middle East, I picked up some culinary delights. So the food I do, I find is really good at festivals. It's vegetarian, and it's full of energy and it flows. So shakshuka, Middle Eastern salads, tahini, and many other things, baba ganoush and stuff like that. So flatbreads and what have you. So fresh juices, do great coffee. I do absolutely killer coffee from a proper coffee machine. So, when you're there in the morning, needing to wake up, I'm your man, really. especially in the middle of a field. It's a real treat. I do things like turmeric and beautiful hot chocolates and things like that. So essentially, I wish to give nourishment to people in fields. Essentially, is what I do.
Thank you. And you'll be appearing alongside the Three Pools stall, which will be a bit more meat based. Tom, is there anything you want to say quickly on the catering side?
Yep, for sure. We raise all of our own cows, pigs, sheep on the land, which we'll learn a bit more about in the farm tours. And we cook that all over fire, all over the open fire. So it's pretty, we love it. It's what we do best. Come and see it for yourselves. Really, you'll be able to smell it. That's for sure. But we're that is just a bit of a taste of the farm. Really, I think that will really complement what you're doing as well, Asterix, in terms of offering something a little bit different. And I think it's I think that's a perfect combination. And I'm looking forward to those coffees, mate.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. Ruth Fox, I'd like to bring you in here. You're going to be doing essentially the opening session. You've been on our crew events and you're sort of part of the Campfire furniture at the moment, very much so. So looking forward to seeing how we kick things off on the Thursday afternoon. The opening session will be at 4 o'clock, but there will be the guided farm tour at 2:30 on Thursday. So recommend everyone getting there early. And then I'll do a quick intro and then hand over to Ruth. So what have you got lined up, Ruth? Your session is called The Connection That Changes Worlds.
So I'm going to be offering something to guide people into a way of connecting with each other on quite a profound way. I call it heart and soul. And it's a lovely thing that can bring us into a way of it's a way of raising everyone, actually, all of those who participate, and it's also something to carry on into life.
Thanks for the update, Pete. Yeah, that sounds really good.
And it's something that I've found very world changing and life changing in my own experience and the experience of others who I know who who've shared this experience and carried it on into life. So it's a beautiful thing to do, both when you're wanting to connect with people and also sometimes when you're feeling disconnected. Because when I look at the world out there, the main sort of dynamic that seems to be leading to a lot of the problems we have is disconnection. And so I'm offering connection in a way that you can take forth and change worlds with.
Thank you very much, Ruth. I'm just going to put a link in the chat for our themes, which have just been announced. They've been arrived at through your wonderful content that you're all bringing to the campfire. One of them, really, for the Thursday, we're about landing in nature. So it says here on the blurb, landing in nature and our true nature, assimilating, unwinding, reconnecting. Learn about the land around us at Three Pools and how the farm utilizes permaculture methods. What we can all learn from nature and its rhythms and cycles. A reminder of how we're all part of a whole and how that leads to connections with others when in flow. And I'd like to bring in Ian Banyard to talk to us about connection with nature. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Pete. Thank you. Yes, connection with nature. I was connected to nature when I was a child. It was my sanctuary and it was my playground. It was the place I escaped to as a child. And I was very connected to it naturally. And then I naturally forgot that. I went into school and I went into the work of business, and I climbed the corporate ladder because that's what was expected of me. And eventually in my 40s, I fell off because it was leaning against the wrong wall. And the only way to stop myself from continuing up it habitually was to jump off. I think I fell off, to be honest. But I say to people, I fell off and found myself in nature. I then lived for 6 years in the beautiful Lake District in Cumbria with a couple of trail hounds. And I went on a journey to find myself. I lost a lot of things in 2002. I won't go into it now. It's a long story, but I can share that story on the event in August with any of you that are interested. But I felt I'd lost everything, and typical man, I thought I could win it back. And so I thought, well, I've lost that. I'll win back something better. And then wasted a lot of my life trying to win back what I'd lost, until one day in nature, I discovered that the opposite of lose is also find. And rather than try and win back what I couldn't win back my parents, who both passed in 2002, but I could find something from that loss and from that bereavement. And what I found was a pathway back to what I call my true nature. And interestingly, I had to be with nature, not in it, to find that path. And that's a really important thing. And I needed to be investing time in nature, not spending time in nature. Lots of people spend time in nature. What I try and encourage people to do is to invest time, energy, and awareness with nature, because we are nature. We're not disconnected from nature. Ruth's absolutely right. There is a disconnect in the world. That just means an absence of connection. That just means an absence of the consciousness of a connection that already exists. And so what I'll be doing is I'm just coming there to explore more of the beautiful nature that's there, explore more of the beautiful nature within myself, and explore more of the beautiful nature in all of you. And so I'll just invite you to do what I'm doing while I'm there, which I'll be up at 6 a.m. because I get up when the light is shining. So 6 a.m. is a good time for me to go for a walk. I've been speaking to Tom, and Tom's allowed me to take a small group of people on a little guided walk to a woodland that overlooks the whole camp.
Why are my Mac speakers not working?
Somebody's speaking.
I found this on the web.
It sounds like Pascal. Could you mute yourself, please?
So yes, so thanks to Tom, I'm able to use a little woodland. I can only take small groups of people in because it's basically untouched, and I like to go into places and do as little harm as possible. So at 6 a.m. I'll be taking a small group up there with me in the morning, just invite people to come. And also I'm collaborating with people as well this year. Last year I did walks on my own, but this year I'm collaborating with Poppy as well with her constellation work, but she'll share that with you later, I'm sure. And so and I like this idea of collaborating. So if there's anybody else that wants to collaborate with what I'm doing with Nature Connection, which is very much about finding a path back to our true nature in order to heal, understand it better, and then release it. One of the hardest things is to release it. As Lucy was saying, finding her voice is the start of the journey, but then releasing her voice is the next part. And it's true for me. It's about finding our nature, healing our nature, understanding our nature, and then releasing it. I'll be doing a talk on Friday. I think I'm following you on Friday, Pete. You're doing the first circle, and then I'll just share a little bit more about natural mindfulness and nature connection, which is just my approach. It's not anything special. It's just how I found to do it. It's a methodology I use, and I just share that with others. And then I'm just going to see what unfolds, and I'll just follow my instinct, follow my feelings, follow my understanding, and follow my insights while I'm there, and invite others to come and do the same. So I think I'll end there, Pete.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah. You will be following the morning circle 9:40 to 10:15, so that will be our general way of starting the day when everyone can come together, and we can preview some of the sessions that are in store that day and hear your feedback, and perhaps do some connection exercises or games as well. Who knows? You mentioned Poppy. I'd like to bring Poppy in here and talk about her session, which is on the Sundays.
Hi everyone. Nice to see all these faces. I'm doing a session on family constellations on Sunday at 11:45 for an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half. Constellations, I was thinking about how to describe it because I have to do it lots and it's difficult to describe, but I was just thinking of something that Ian was just saying about nature, and I was thinking of when you always drive in the same direction on a muddy road or on a woodland road, you start to create grooves in the terrain, which makes it hard to turn your wheel to go somewhere else. You know, you're so deeply entrenched in this groove. And I was thinking of this groove as like our story about ourselves and about our lives. And Constellations sort of offers a way to get out of the same old groove of the story that we have about who we are and where we come from. So that's my analogy of the day, and it allows us to see a different perspective in a sort of creative, very creative way. And I believe that creativity comes from your soul. So this is soul work, and it's very profound. I'm going to try and keep it. The exercise is relatively short, so we'll go as deep as we need to. And I also trust the field, which is a big part of Constellations work, for that. And yeah, I mean, it's difficult at a large gathering to sort of regulate, and everything's quite, you know, even just looking at the screen now, there's like so many people, and it's like time to just take a breath. And then after we've done one exercise, which I haven't 100% decided, I kind of do know what I want to do, but I will be sort of reading what comes up during Campout and see if there's any themes emerging that require further exploration, any tracks we've sort of stuck ourselves in our vans. And then I'll end it with a sort of a ritual, which similarly to, I think, what you were saying, Ruth, maybe is a way to just really connect with other people who you've dived deep with, and open your heart in a loving way, to send everyone back off to their homes that afternoon. And as well as that workshop session, I will, yes, as Ian said, be doing some mini constellations in nature. So nature constellations. There's a constellations facilitator called Francesca Mason-Boring, who is half Shoshone American woman. And she's written some amazing books and created some incredible exercises, some of which I will be adapting and using on Ian's walks early in the morning and maybe at other times in the day, depending on what else is going on and what we fancy. But yeah, my work is phenomenological, which means I work in the moment with whatever is arising. So it's hard to say I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But my plan is definitely to have that ritual aspect at the end for all of us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think that will segue really nicely into our last session as well, in the afternoon before we all go home. Oh, who to come to next? Zelda, I was with you in Amsterdam last week and we were talking about Gold in the Shadows, which is the title of your session. Would you like to say a bit more about that?
And the other bit of it got left out. What was it? Meeting your demons and finding your gifts, I think I put in it. It's also about connection. I mean, I hear the connection is a theme that's running through a lot of what everybody's saying, which is very heartening. And I think one of the reasons we get disconnected is because, or one of the ways we get to disconnect, we get into these polarizations, and the polarizations that are occurring all around us, which Pete and I talked a lot about when you were here, Pete, how polarization works and the polarization in ourselves. That it's that our inner polarizations are reflected in the outside world, so that that makes it, the more we're polarized within ourselves and the less self-knowledge we have, we are amenable to manipulation through other forces in the outside world. So self-knowledge is really important. I'm sure everybody here would agree with that. But how do we find those polarizations in ourselves? Like, where are we polarized? I know for myself, like when I'm listening to the radio or whatever, I don't watch all that much television, but I'm listening to podcasts or even looking at an image, I can feel a physical reaction in myself. And so, okay, there's something going on here. I need to dive into that. So what I will be doing is supporting people in just tracking those kind of physical responses, which we all have, and which we have learned. I'm thinking of what you said, Ian. Where are you now? I can't see you on the screen anyway. Oh yeah, now I see you. About getting, that we suddenly can find ourselves, suddenly that stops that disconnectedness, or that there's something confronts us, and that's it. It's very often a crisis which leads to a huge change, and that we reconnect with ourselves somehow. Now, there's ways of doing that are less crisis, there's less crisis involved in it, and that's what I'm going to be doing, because I went through, having been a psychologist for a long time and therapist, I had cancer many years ago now, but through that, through the experiences of having dreams beforehand, coming up to it, and the dreams gave me a lot of information, which is why I discovered the cancer very early, could get treated early, could choose more what I wanted, and also what the process was behind the cancer. I'm very interested in and love supporting people in tracking what's happening in our bodies, because that way you can head a symptom off at the past before it becomes intractable and you can't get at it anymore. And it's, yeah, end of story. So I will be working on how are those polarizations occurring within ourselves. The parts of ourselves that are less conscious, or that we just don't want to look at, preferably, and how they kind of come back and bite us in the ass if we don't watch out. And they have a way of sneaking in, and they also turn up in our dreams. The same phenomena turn up in our dreams, in our bodies, in our relationships, in our work. You can see this thread running through the whole thing. So that's what I'm going to, and I'm like you, Poppy, I'm phenomenological. Try saying that when you've had a few drinks, in my approach. So it's very much, okay, who am I working, who's here, and what needs to be, what's in the room right now. And it develops out of that, which can be a little nerve-wracking at times for me, also for other people. But I like working that way, because I believe, like you just mentioned, Poppy, in the wisdom of the field, and that which needs to be addressed will arise. And so that's what I'll be doing, and I hope some people will join me and be curious enough about it.
Yeah, you'll be on at 1400 hours to 1540, I believe, on Friday in the sleeve upstairs. So
yeah, the sleeve.
The sleeve.
At the same time as Dan asking Gregory, so
yeah. So he'll be on a slightly more political tip. When we started the first Campout in 2016 was a lot more about activism and politics, I guess. Jeremy Corbyn was bubbling at that point, and soon to be given an opportunity to show what he was about. And we had a lot of people very involved in new forms of democracy and talking about it. So that segues quite nicely into the fact we'll be doing a People's Assembly at Campout, and Emma Wall, who was the first Campfire independent Trailblazer candidate to stand in the general election, a very brave move, which I'm sure she'll be relating all about that experience. She polled a very creditable 1,833 votes, I think, in a campaign that lasted about 3 weeks. So we were very happy to see Emma's result there. Didn't quite get the deposit back, but it sort of made total sense to run with the idea of doing a People's Assembly here. We did do one at the Froome event in 2019, with the Sortition Foundation people. Actually, Brett Hennig came over, but it's time we did another one, and we're really excited to welcome you to Campout, Emma.
Thanks, Pete. Hi, everybody. Yeah, the whole political thing was, didn't get my deposit back, got 4.5% of the vote, but they only give it back on 5%. I asked them if they'd give it back pro rata, but no, it's been returned to the Crown, whatever that's supposed to mean. Anyway, I don't think the Crown gave it to them in the first place. It was me and Claire, but there we go. So People's Assembly, really, I mean, I am a bit phenomenologically as well. I'm interested to see who comes and to draw stuff out. Like, I think the whole point with the People's Assembly is I don't go in with an agenda. I want to find out what is actually live for people. And if there are, my experience of having run for MP is that the system itself is so locked down. I think it's much more what we do at a grassroots level. That's where we're going to make the changes, because if you look at the numbers, they're quite eye-watering what's just gone on with the election. I think Reform polled half the number of votes that Labour did, but they got 4 or 5 MPs as opposed to 421, which is, it's just, the whole system is completely bonkers. So I guess my experience, yeah, has been, okay, well, what can we do? What can we actually do? Because running for Parliament, though it was an interesting experience, it never really felt very likely that I was going to win, because the system, and I think people are so in there, we were talking about polarity earlier. Literally, I don't think any people, I don't think many of the electorate can even think beyond the blue and the red. And I guess that's what I'd love to, what I'm hoping to get out of the session is that between us, it won't be, obviously I'll be there holding space and drawing stuff out of people, but it's really what people who come are going to bring. That's what I want to find out, and what we can do with that information, if there's anything we can take into our own communities to actually do something. Because I think also there's a lot of talking about, oh, this is terrible and that's terrible. And one of the things I loved, it was Claire Johnson, who was my agent, effectively, who really supported me. And she's very much an action person, like, okay, let's get stuff done. This is an action thing. So yeah, that's me. I'm not going to talk much more because it's going to present itself on the day.
Thank you, Emma. Really, very much looking forward to that session. And yeah, independent politics has to be the future, I think. Get away from outmoded party politics. Another recent addition, Sidtsara Ross, Stevie, good to see you here. Do you want to talk about the Eros Rising yurt?
Right, yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this tonight. Yeah, Eros Rising. I came late to the whole Campout thing. It's through Ruth, really, and I'm delighted to see some of the people that I know. And I was just as a crew member, volunteer, but as a volunteer. However, I found myself now in the Eros Rising space. Not 100% certain if I'm one of the presenters, which is great, or whether there's some coordination role. I'm not 100% sure, because I think we come together and do it together. And I guess my idea for this is it's around what Eros is. And for me, it's a non-sexual space. Eros is the life force energy, that which carries us forward to take action. It comes from the ground upwards through the heart, and then we take action. And so for me, I think I'll be offering 3 or 4 things in that space. Again, one of them is about connection. Well, all my work's about conscious connection, but primarily connection to the self first. So we'll be doing a lot of sort of presencing, and because it's around pleasure, we'll be doing presencing with pleasure. And I loved how one of the other people was saying about tracking. I think it was Zelda was saying about tracking what's going on in the body. So it sounds great, or to me, it sounds great that there's a few of us doing the same sort of thing, which is wonderful, because it sort of embodies it and deepens it, and it becomes a way of being in the world. And also, a lot of my stuff is around consent and boundaries. It's all trauma informed. So really putting across that if you don't want to connect, you don't need to connect. You know, if you really just want to be there and stand there, that's absolutely fine, because you're connecting with your truth in that moment. So that's going to be one of them. Another one is liquid love. Now, liquid love to me is a beautiful thing. I don't know if anybody's done it. I'm not sure either if that's an actual trademark name with Yael, who in London, who delivers it. But basically, it's a beautiful sensual practice with warm olive oil. And you can have a bikini on, you can have swimwear on, or I'm thinking about this one, there's a possibility to be naked. It's very much a non-sexual space. Everything I offer is non-sexual, even in the temple. We're doing a temple night as well. And so it's Eros, which is the energy of fire, if you like, rather than the physical. So I have a really strong definition of a non-sexual space. And is it okay if I just share that here? I think it's important that we all know, because a lot of the temple spaces, a lot of the sacred sexuality type things do include some sort of sex. And it's not that I'm a prude, but it brings a different energy. So I offer a space of nurturing, nourishment, sensuality, expansion, and dropping into the regulated nervous system. And so my definition of a non-sexual space is non-intentional genital touch. And that's important in this liquid love one, because the people are blindfolded. And there's an opening circle to start with. We go over boundaries, fears, hopes, desires. Then I'll sort of share how it is and how it can be. And we have an agreement around it being a non-sexual space. We also have ways of keeping each other safe. If you feel a hand that feels uncomfortable, there's ways of just tapping or moving that hand out. There's also people there to watch, space holders there to see if anyone goes into freeze or anything like that, or into fawn. So it's a well-held space. So that's what liquid love is. And basically you have beautiful music. It's a meditation. It's one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. And I don't know why I offer it. I wish somebody else would, so I could be part of it. But, and just allow the body to softly and gently move, which it will with oil. You just move, and it's just so sensual. It's beautiful. It takes my breath away just thinking about it. So that's one of them. What was the other one? The May I workshop. I love this one. This is the art of honest taking. And the reason I bring this one, there's a story. My story is I thought I was a giver in life. I was a massage therapist, psychotherapist, blah, blah, all of those things. I thought I was giving. Actually, the truth of it was I got so much from whatever, I was giving and offering. I recognized I was taking. And I've done a lot of work with Betty Martin, Wheel of Consent, which I think is a great model. And I think there's more to it as well. Or more than that. And I spoke with her because I felt bad that I was taking from people. And she said, no need to feel bad. Just be honest in that taking. So may I is around me taking my pleasure from somebody else's body. So that could be, may I stroke your face? May I hold you closely from behind? And I get something out of that, of doing that. So that's what this workshop is about. And it's tuning into yourself first, always. What is it I'd really like to take from this person? How can I get my nurturing, my nourishment, my playfulness, my comfort from this person? May I just snuggle into your belly? May I put my head under your arm? All of those things. And yeah, then the temple space, which is an accumulation of all of those things, plus other practitioners might have things to offer, because I know there's a few other beautiful offerings in that space. So bringing that together, I'm not sure, is that the Saturday evening? No?
You've got the Saturday evening is the Central Temple, which is at 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock in the programme at the moment.
Yeah.
Friday evening is Liquid Love, and May I is before that on Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And also on the Sunday, there is Leora, who is with us here. Hi, Leora. It's good that you'll be appearing. A good segue into talk yourself. Great to see you here. Would you like to say a bit about your offerings?
Yeah, it's a lovely place to segue. Thank you, because I'm offering a workshop on the Saturday called Look Lovingly. And I know we've talked a lot about connection and love, and it's a very much an embodied experience. One person who attended at a workshop, who I now supervise as a practitioner, said that it was his first experience and he felt this real tingling throughout his body and felt like so deeply fulfilled. He actually left the festival because he felt he got everything he came for. And we look at the distinction between lust, which is what do I want, and love, which is what can I give? How can I appreciate the beauty in another? And when we can feel that in ourselves, it's incredibly sustaining. And when we receive it from another and are truly seen as we are in our embodiment, in our feelings, it's kind of that birthright that many of us didn't receive quite the way we would have liked it. It's a chance to really reconnect with that. So it's a whole process that takes you into that sense of really being seen and really enjoying recognizing, seeing another human being in their fullness, in their being. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that. That's on the Saturday in the morning, I believe, if I've got that right. And on the Sunday, as another integration session, I'll be running a somatic sharing circle. So that's a chance to really take in the gifts of Campout, which are, as we can see, so, diverse and cohesive at the same time. And it's a chance to be held. So it'll be in the yurt. Thank you, Sidtsara, for holding that space. It's kind of like a womb. So you will be held, facilitated to drop into yourself, to let yourself really feel and be with what you're taking away, and at the same time also help release and contextualize anything that's still jangled in any way within you. And that's one of my specialities. I've been leading workshops and working with couples for 25 years, offering this kind of material. So I'm just really thrilled to have the chance to do that here. So those are my main offerings. And in terms of collaboration, Ian, if there's a chance, I also have from the yoga I practice, which is Isha Yoga, a devotional practice, which helps us get an experiential sense of bowing down to nature and feeling ourselves as more part of that. So that's not a scheduled thing, but it could occur in some way, shape or form. Yeah, very, very exciting. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, everyone.
Leora.
Thank you, Leora. Well, this is the interior of the yurt for a quick show. So looking forward to that. Was someone, sorry, I missed that. Was someone?
No, I was just about to say, it's lovely to see Leora, because Leora, you may not remember me, but you were the very first person who I came to see after my divorce in London. And that was a big trip to travel to London. I'd heard of you and you held me in your arms when it's the only time I have grieved. And it was absolutely beautiful. So I've always held you very special in my heart. So it's really lovely. I can feel tearful now to see you here. So thank you.
Oh, Sidtsara, thank you. I recognized your name, but I couldn't place you. So thank you for that gift. I'm honored.
Hi, I'm Bear Phillips. I'm super excited to be at Campout 2024 this year from the 8th to the 11th of August, where I'll be offering a workshop called Men Meeting Men. It's a space, a health space, where we can gather and share our experiences of what it is to be a man in the world, our challenges, our vulnerabilities, our griefs, our sadnesses, as well as our joys. There is so much to celebrate in being a man, but there is also so much fear, and so much fear of other men. And this is an opportunity to let the masks fall away, to be able to meet each other as the human beings that we are, to bring compassion and empathy for ourselves as well as others. There will be exercises in pairs, small groups, opportunities to share with a wider circle. There'll be music, there'll be some movement, and perhaps even there'll be some touch, hugging, holding, only if it feels appropriate with everyone at choice at all times. I so look forward to welcoming you on Saturday at 11 o'clock, from 11 to 12:45. Till then.
Althea, pain-free method, natural health, a major concern for a lot of us and an interest. Would you like to talk about your offerings?
Absolutely, and thank you very much for inviting me to Campout. And I feel really passionate and strongly about, like it looks like all of us, about a positive future, adding something positive, all the shenanigans going on, but what are we going to do? What do we want? Building a positive future. So I'm really passionate to be part of that in a pain-free way, in a health way. I've been a natural therapist for over 30 years, and things like shiatsu, reflexology, Reiki, kahuna massage, Thai massage, all sorts of things, holistic things. And I feel and see and hear about this common theme of connection, disconnect, connecting, and that's a core aspect of how the pain-free method works, connecting back to you. So the body keeps a score, you know, when you go through life and you feel things and you experience things. And I'm feeling like I'm guessing a lot of people here understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's in our cells, it's in our memories, it's in our behavior, what we go through, how we feel, what we think every day and every minute. It's all works as one. And what I teach with pain-free method is how to connect to what bubbles up in you. And I've been a practical body working therapist for all these years. And so I see the body as like a window to connect to the release of whatever you want to release. So everything's okay until it's not okay, until you get that back pain, until you get endometriosis, until you get migraines that won't go, until you get those patterns that keep reoccurring, and you know what they are because they keep reoccurring. How do you get rid of them? How do you let those things go? So one of the core things that I teach is that to understand healing correctly, from my point of view, I'm sure you've got all different, your unique way, which is of course valuable. We all have our ways. The way that I teach is to understand that pain is a message that wants to be heard. It's like the tip of the iceberg. It's not something to fix or get rid of that ache in that joint, that arthritis, that migraine, whatever. It's the first thing I teach is to understand pain and conditions, physical pain and conditions correctly, which it's a message that wants to be heard, like your hungry message. You've got to notice it and then do something, and the message goes away. And so it's about tuning into your natural healing system to understand pain and conditions correctly and take the correct actions to get rid of it from the root, no matter how long you've had this. I work with people, I specialize with people with long-term chronic conditions and pain and symptoms and things. Like Maureen, who had full body arthritis. She was bedridden, and she was pain-free with my method in 4 to 5 weeks. You know, she got her life back, started doing the housework again, and hadn't done it for months and months. Her husband did everything for her. Or Lee, who was suicidal with nerve pain, neuralgic pain in her face, and she had 4 kids, and she was suicidal with it. And that was in 2016, and it's never come back. So it clears it on the surface condition, whatever condition, or it doesn't even have to be physical. I call it thing you don't want. So it can be difficulty with relationships, those patterns that you know you want to change but don't know quite how to change, or it's not working, the shift is not working, or anxiety, insomnia, childhood traumas. So thing you don't want, that's what you can use this method for, from simple niggles and aches and pains, negative thought, all the way to serious chronic conditions. And I work with men and women, children. There was Martin, who had accidents from motorbike accidents when he was a 19-year-old, and he was, like many, told to learn to live with it, lived off cocodamol and painkillers, like most people are in this Western medical system, all suppressing that message. How are you going to let it go if you don't listen to the message to unlock the reason you've got it? So it's even, you know, from people with from accidents or operation damage. I've worked with people from the shot damage, and it works. It's not for everybody. It has to align with your kind of way. And as long as that's all in place, then it works. It's very, very simple. It works immediately. It might take time to go through and unlock your story, release yourself from that story. Like Noreen, it took her 4 weeks to unbuckle from why her body had full body arthritis. But Martin, he had back pain, severe back pain for 30 years, and he started to get relief in the first 5 minutes. So it's really profound, and it unlocks the surface symptom you have, and all the way through to the many years, moments of creation of it, the root cause, right back to the root cause. And it changes lives. And I'm thrilled and honored to be in that position, that to offer that to people. It's something I developed myself, and it's easy to do. So I'm going to be on Saturday afternoon at 3:45. If you want to come chat to me and find out about it, I'll be there the whole camp out, and I can't wait. So I'm thrilled to be part of this, and it feels fantastic energy, and I'm thrilled to be a piece in that, in what's going to be happening.
Thank you very much, Althea.
Welcome. Thank you, Pete.
A couple more things happening on Saturday. I'm going to come to Paula in a minute to talk about focusing and inner listening, but Elle Chaska, who turned up at our recent crew session here at Trailblazer Farm in Wales. It'll be a pleasure to welcome you. What are you bringing to the campfire, Elle?
Hi, Pete. Yeah, it's lovely to see you, and it's so lovely to see some of the others that I met up at the farm a few weeks back. So my role at the festival, sorry, I'm not allowed to use that word, am I? You keep telling me off for that. The gathering. I've just got to reprogram my mind. If anyone's got some reprogramming tips for my poor brain, that would be a good one. Yeah, so I'm a herbalist by trade, and I called my company the Rainbow Portal because one of the things that I've done in various different types of modalities of learning herbalism is I've learned very clinical methods, and I've also learned very shamanic and intuitive methods. And what I realized is that eventually I realized that actually they're talking the same language. And really what I could see was that, there needed to be a bridging of worlds, a bridging of the science and spirituality. And so that's something that I try to weave into my offerings now, is to give people both an understanding of the science, but also the spirituality of plants. And so one of the reasons that I'm going to be doing a somatic tea journey in the Eros Rising tent is because one of the most useful and memorable ways to learn herbs is through the body. So I'm going to be offering a mystery tea journey. So you'll show up and you won't know what this tea is. It's suitable for everybody to use. And then I'm going to be guiding you through a way of listening so deeply into your body that you will be able to know what is actually happening in your body because of drinking and communing with that particular plant. And when I do this exercise with people and they come out the other side of it, they're really surprised. They're like, oh gosh, I can't believe how much my body knew about this plant. And because they've gone through it in that particular way, they remember it. So it's completely different from the way that, let's say, if you were learning from a textbook and you're trying to, the way that most of us were probably taught at school, by rote, just remember this, and then you can just, repeat it ad infinitum. What you're actually going to get is a relationship with that particular plant, and you're going to remember how it is affecting you because of how you've learned how to commune with it. So show up and be prepared to have a really interesting time with the plants. And yeah, I think I'm also doing some music somewhere at some point as well, because something that the plants got me doing, yeah, I kind of ended up just being like a voice for plants, really, is the best way that for plant spirits. So they started to, one of the sort of extensions of the work that I do is eventually, like, so first of all, it can be somatic, but then the next extension of that is also the expression. And so people express in different ways. Some people will express through art or poetry. And for me, it's been music. And so lots of the plants have basically got me singing songs for them. So, you know, there's songs for mugwort and rose, and, you know, I will be, and all sorts of different things, really. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of blossomed like a plant does. And I am now only a few months away from the release of my first album of yeah, planty inspired music. So I'll be sharing some of that. And then also I think I'm helping out in the kids zone as well too. So you'll find me in various different spots over the course of the gathering. Look, I did it right. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so looking forward to being with everyone. I'm really feeling the energy of this co-creation, and I'm writing down already. I'm making notes on my phone. I'm like, yep, definitely going to that. Yep, definitely going to that. And I think we're going to struggle, aren't we, at some point of like, oh, you know, that's on at the same time as this. What am I going to go to? But that's the nature of these things. And yeah, really looking forward to being with you. Thank you so much for the invitation as well to be here. Yeah.
Thank you. And we had a delight listening to your track at the recent Treaty Farm cruise session. Wonderful.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was nice to be with you guys. That was the day it released. So it was fun to be together to celebrate that. Yeah.
So there is a live music section on the Friday night. There'll be yourself and then Lucy and then Ruth in a row. So I will correct the timing on the program. Before that, there'll be Jackie Juno doing her stand-up poetry and comedy. So she couldn't be here tonight, but she sent us in a little clip, which I'm going to play. We do have a couple of other clips. It's a quick one from Jackie.
Hello. Okay, so I'm Jackie Juno. This is a very brief introductory video to introduce myself. I'm making it brief because I've got a big show tonight and I've got to get ready and practice and all that sort of stuff. It's multimedia, so it's got a ton of things and technology and but anyway, apart from that, that's my new show which I'm taking to Edinburgh. I am also a stand-up poet / comedian, and I'm coming to Campout Festival, and I'm going to be doing at least half an hour of stand-up comedy / poetry, and I'm very excited because it looks like a beautiful place and lots of interesting stuff going on which I want to get involved with. I am a multiple poetry slam winner, loads of slams, including the Glastonbury Festival Poetry Slam, which is one of the best to win in the country. I've not only won that once, I've just won it again twice. I don't think that's ever been done by anyone. So I'm looking forward to entertaining you all, making you laugh. Don't know what time I'm on. Check the programme. I need to check the programme. When am I on?
Thank you, Jackie. Yes, Jackie's actually on at 8 o'clock, so just after dinner on the Friday. Paula, would you like to say a little bit about your focusing and in a listening session?
I would, Pete. Yeah, what a smorgasbord of fabulous expertise here. So I'm bringing a focusing session to the gathering, and I practice and I teach focusing, and I do that because it's been in my life for about more than 20 years. It's a way of connecting with our inner wisdom, so connecting with self, and we've had lots of kind of different methods of that already this evening, so absolutely loads of possibilities to connect. And it's I kind of subtitle it inner listening, because focusing is the name that Eugene Gendlin, who was a philosopher, gave to it in the 1960s. But it's the skill of taking a situation or a conflict or pain and just simply pausing with that and acknowledging it, because our habitual is to try to change it, run away from it, judge it. Maybe not in this circle of people, but you know, when I suggest to somebody, well, let's just pause with that. Let's just feel that. Let's explore the felt sense. Let's be with the felt sense in the body. And felt sense is perhaps something that most people here are familiar with in the other modalities. We really stay curious to what's here around, let's say a situation with my plumber a couple of weeks ago who was being really arsey, and it was a very scary situation for me. And as I sat with that, I realized that there was underlying just lots of things about being rejected and not being heard, and you know, being shut down by this certain person. So it reveals the underlying story. When our mind wants to say it's this, it's that, I'm angry, he's angry, our body reveals and our felt sense reveals all of the underlying information about this, whatever we might want to sit with, which is really useful. And actually what we do is simply stay with that, and we might build an inner relationship and allow the something that's there to speak, and we may get you know, a very, very clear message about what's needed without pushing. So it's about listening to our body's wisdom. It's about staying with our felt sense and seeing where that journey takes us to. So I do teach that to groups. I bring it to different gatherings. And as Poppy said earlier, it's really hard sometimes to explain this in words. It's a very experiential practice. So it's worked for me for more than 20 years with everyday things, with developmental situations, and it continues to be a real tool in my life. So can't wait to be here 2 weeks from now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Paula. You'll be on at 2 o'clock in the sleeve upstairs, I believe.
Saturday, I think, yeah.
Saturday, yeah.
Thank
you. Only met Fiona Winter a couple of weeks ago when you turned up at 3 Pools and we did a site visit together. You've got something really exciting that we've only just added to the bill. As if we're not full of treats already, we've got even more. So would you like to say something about what you're offering?
Yes, thank you, Pete. And yeah, I wasn't so much invited as I badgered Pete with an email and said, I've heard such a lot about it, please can I come? And we met up, and yeah, I'm going to be there. So I'm offering something called Move in Nature. So very much, you know, connected to a lot of the things that Ian's talked about, to be outside, but through using the silent disco headset technology. And there won't be a disco sound on the playlist. It will all be music that's specially put together for the site. So as we move around the site, there'll be a playlist that connects us to what we're seeing, what we're sensing, what we're feeling as we go through the different areas, which is why I needed to do a site visit. It's a very intimate experience. So we're all hearing the same music, but we're all having our own experience of connecting to our own body, connecting to the music, and connecting to nature. I'm offering invitations and guides. My background for all of this is I've moved all my life. I've taught some kind of movement for the last, I think it's 45 years now. And originally that was in dance and fitness, which are not the places where you necessarily move with pleasure and joy. They're often places where you move with pain or because you're being told to. But actually all my work, all the time, even when I was teaching dance and fitness, was about what feels good for you. And I was always much more interested in teaching people who were beginners, people who said they couldn't dance, people who'd never had that opportunity before. And I think that was just something in myself. So when I became interested in somatic work and embodiment, it was like, yeah, this is actually where I fit, these are the places that I can bring something that feels right for me. So moving with pleasure, moving with joy, connecting to ourselves, connecting to nature. And obviously we're doing that as a group. So there is some connection through the group as well. But really sensing into what the body's feeling. Looking at the season, obviously we'll just be at Campout in this one particular season. But generally my work here in the South Wales valleys, we go to the same places month after month. We often go out in the dark at the full moon. And so we're seeing this change to a very familiar place. And it might be the first time that some of the people I take out have ever really thought about the cycles of nature, their own cycles and their connection. So I'm offering a lot of this work to people who have never experienced it before, perhaps never done mindful movement. So it'll be an absolute treat to come to Campout and connect with people who get it straight away. So I believe, and Pete can confirm this, I think I'm in the wellness area, which kind of means I'll set some times and pop up. Is that right, Pete?
I believe it is, yeah. Keep your eyes peeled in the wellness.
Yeah, or perhaps if a bunch of people come to me and say, oh, can you do one at 2 o'clock? I'll be out. Yes, see me at 2. Thanks,
Looking
Pete.
forward to hearing what you got on the playlist anyway. Very thanks, Fiona. So I think we've got through most of the people who are here. I'm going to open it to anyone who wants to ask questions in a minute, but we've still got 2 or 3 phoned in contributions. So I think I met you, Fiona, through Yael, who's been a regular the last couple of campouts. So she couldn't make it today, but we're going to listen to what she's got in store for us. Here's Yael Hochenberg.
Hey, everyone on the Campfire Campout network. I'm sorry I can't make the call tomorrow evening. My name is Yael, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm really thrilled to be part of the team of facilitators with rich offerings. I'm offering a couple of things this year. One is my workshop Breathe, Sense, Dance, and the other is literally wake up, rock up, breathe and dance. As you can see, I'm actually on a beach in Cornwall, which is phenomenal. We're in a lot of drizzle this summer. Anyway, Breathe, Sense, Dance is going to be an integrative journey weaving the conscious connected breath with sensory movement or dance and awareness and toning, being really inclusive of all the parts that sometimes we don't want to include because they feel uncomfortable. So this is a really an amazing opportunity, I hope, supported by myself and at least one team member. We bring touch as long as you are consenting. So it's received touch or given touch, turning into the body, movement, beautiful soundscape, and the morning, early morning will be a perfect thing to come to on Sunday morning. It will be the last morning of Campout and a really perfect way to integrate the festival and the step out in a really amazing way.
Thank you, Yael. Slap wrists for festival instead of gathering there. So say tongue in cheek. We've got a little preview which I did with Gitika. We're going to be doing some campfire songs, and I'm really excited because I've been writing songs for the first time in 20 years with a spirit of activism, pacifism and activism behind it, really. So tapping into that sort of 60s spirit of sort of anti-war, utopian, kumbaya type songs around the campfire and updating them for 2024, perhaps with a slightly more spiritual edge. So I met Gitika at last year's Campout. She only came at the last minute. I chatted up her partner, Andy, who I met in the pub in Monmouth, and I was only talking about Campout for 3 or 4 minutes, and I noticed that they bought tickets the next morning, which was fantastic. So she really enjoyed the event, and we've started working together musically. So some of you may have seen this. I posted it on Campfire and Facebook already. And it's a little preview for the singing that we also did at the last team weekend here at Treaty.
I'm really excited that Pete Lawrence and I have been writing some campfire songs, and they are going to be sung at a workshop at Campout in August, which is really great. So I thought I'd just give you a little preview of one. Okay. If I had a voice, I'd join the world in song, and I had a choice, yes, I would sing along. If I had a voice, the truth would be my light, and I had a choice, my words would be my fight.
If I had a voice, I'd join the world in song, and I had a choice, yes, I would sing along. If I had a voice, the truth would be my light, and I had a choice, my words would be my fight. I'd sing it out, my voice raising high, I'd sing it out, I'm touching the sky, I'll sing it out, so near and so far, I'd sing it out, hallelujah, hallelujah, joining it out, my voice raising high, it's everybody, I'm touching the sky, joining it out, so near and so far, it's everybody, hallelujah, hallelujah. Just a little sneak preview. We've got quite a few of those up our sleeves, so we'll be doing a session in the afternoon on Saturday in the Duchy. Yeah, we're doing a session at 17:30 to 18:45 in the Duchy on Saturday, and then singing around the fire at 10 o'clock in the evening after the open mic sessions. So there is another clip of Gitika and Andy, her partner, are doing a thing called 3 Bucket Jones. Other Jones is taking over. We've got serious Jones here. We've got 3 Bucket Jones.
Good.
So I'll play that before we finish. And there's one other clip which I wanted to play before we open it up. Caroline Savage.
Hi, I'm Caroline, founder and managing director of Banyard, an online business based in North Devon. We support buyers and sellers and help people access physical gold and silver bars and coins throughout the UK. I bought my first precious metal bars in 2007 and helped by a working knowledge of banking and property industries, founded Banyard 2 years later. Recently, precious metals have become more than just an investment. They provide an insurance policy and alternative method of exchange that can't be centrally controlled. Concerns over excessive government intervention, the power of the banking industry and other threats has seen more people turning to physical precious metals and cryptocurrencies. Campout offers a wonderful opportunity to mix with like-minded souls, so having enjoyed it so much last year, I decided I'd share my knowledge by offering my own workshop. During our time together, I will tell you more about the work I do and how I help people navigate this landscape to find their own solutions. You'll have the opportunity to discuss all aspects of bullion ownership, and I'm happy for you to ask me anything. I look forward to seeing you at Campout.
Thank you, Caroline. That's the session that's happening at 17:45 in the sleeve upstairs on Friday. Your alternative at the time is conscious speed dating, which is happening in the Duchy. So an interesting selection of different things. So I'm just going to open it up to any questions that people want to ask. Could you raise a digital hand, please? But we can't really see real hands. There's so many of you still on the call. Ken Roseman.
I know there are some of you guys that I have not met yet. I am in Silver Spring, Maryland, just over the line from Washington, D.C. How did I get to be part of this in any way, shape, or form? I've known Mr. Lawrence for 40 years from the international music community. I'm a music journalist. My specialties are British folk rock and world music. And that fits in real well with what Pete does. So, yeah, I wish I could be there in person. It sounds like it's going to be a wonderful event. I think you guys are all going to have a great time. I know that Pete is doing a workshop on writing, and if there was a way I could virtually attend that one, I would be very grateful. And also, this may sound a little weird. I hope not. I'm sure at least some of you guys probably know Jeremy Corbyn. I would love to contact him. He is probably my favorite politician right now. I wore something English for the occasion. And I actually, and Pete and some of the rest of you who come to the Sunday things know, I'm not generally very optimistic, but we've had a sea change over here. Kamala Harris. She's not a radical, as far as I know, but she does present something different and is a stark alternative to DJT, who I can't stand in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. You've also got Mr. Kennedy as well, so you've got a very good option there, although his policies on certain things aren't quite aligned with some people.
Yeah.
But thank you. And you prompted me. I forgot my own session. I'm so busy promoting everyone else's that I'm doing a writing circle on the Sunday morning. We have had 2 opportunities to do that here on Campfire on Zoom, and I think some of you have attended. And they've been really productive. I was really inspired by Jackie Juno, actually, who's you saw earlier on. I went to a session of hers in Totnes, which was a writer's circle, and I thought, yeah, I can do this. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is and doing a session which will be, unfortunately, the same time as Poppy's Family Constellations, which I'd love to go to as well, but 11:50 on Sunday for an hour and a half or so. So come along. If you want to write about your experiences over the weekend, or draft that letter to your gran that you've put off for months, or write a book, whatever it is, write a review of Campout, it's all there for the taking. Just bring a digital device or a notepad or whatever and come along.
I'm getting a good taste for what Campout will be like just from attending this session, and I really wish I could be there. So,
almost an embarrassment of riches, isn't it? It's
yes.
Yeah. Julia, are you picking us up? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You've come just in time. You have a habit of gate crashing our party at the last minute and stealing the show, which
I'm
you did.
so sorry. It's my
You
nephew's
did at the
19th
2019 Froome event. You came in a whirlwind, and the footage we've got from your performance with your cello is one of my highlights of all time, actually, of Campout. What are you planning to do this time?
Well, I've just read a little message to everyone because I didn't know if I would be getting through, but I'm very excited about all the work you've been doing, which I've kind of just been glimpsing from a distance. I'm loving the themes, and I'm looking forward, because I'm playing on the first day, to landing everybody at the 3 pools, and just creating a space to sing, be, and tune in to wherever we're at, and then see what happens from there. I mean, the last time I played at the Campout, or 2 years ago, it was the day my dear beloved dad died. Not my dad, but the father of my children. So it's always very special at Campfire. So I'm excited.
And we're excited too. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to play a quick 3 Bucket Jones, which is Gitika's other project with Andy. And then we'll have an opportunity. We're sort of up on time, really, but if anyone wants to hang around for a few more minutes, I'm game. So here's a quick clip from Three Bucket Jones that Gitika sent me from her rehearsal yesterday with Andy.
Sorry we can't be with you. We just wanted to say hello and say that we're really looking forward to being at Campout.
We
Here's my hand.
are definitely looking forward to being at Campout, and we're rehearsing the songs as we speak.
Yeah, and they're really exciting because this will be the first time they've ever been. Oh yes, the spin dryer's on, so that'll be good. The first time they've ever been performed, and they're all a lot of them are from poems by W.B. Yeats, which is really cool. You should be able to hear the drilling as well. Yeah, it's all going on.
Okay. So we'll see you there.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay.
And we're having a little practice now. So shall we just do the last bit of music?
Take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true, but one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrow of your changing face. I'm bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled, and paced among the mountains overhead, and hid his face among a crowd of stars, among a crowd of stars.
Yeah, wonderful. So with her campfire teaching, Bryony Greenhill is also coming to do a live session as well as some vocal improv. So we have some amazing musical treats in store this year, as well as everything else. So just going to keep things going for a few more minutes. If anyone wants to speak to anyone, ask any questions of what they've heard of those who are still on the call.
I think we're gonna have a great time. You know, I wish I could.
If you could raise a digital hand, please. Tamara, is that you waving a hand?
Yes, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't raise a hand. Yes, I wonder. Deborah Maria Magdalena might have something to share as well. Deborah Sophia Magdalena. She's here for a very good reason, I think.
Well, thank you, Tamara. I have been actually thinking as people have been speaking about making an offering, and one of the things that I've done with groups before is do hugging. I used to run a business called Global Hugs. I was a director of Hugs and created like International Hugs Week and used to go out on the streets offering free hugs. I've got sort of stories to share on that, but also teaching people different types of hugs, which is fun, but it's also quite profound as well. So if that's something that you'd like me to facilitate, I'm really happy to do that.
Thank you. I know Stevie has directions to do that actually in the Eros Rising yurt, so you might want to make contact with her. There is also the open space session, which I haven't mentioned so far, which is Sunday morning, where this goes back several years with Campout history, where we just have nothing programmed at all. And in fact, in 2018, we did a prototype Campout with absolutely nothing scheduled, so there was nothing on the flyer. And I just invited everyone who came to create their own event. So in Microcosm, we're doing this again on the Sunday morning between 10 o'clock and 11:30 across whichever spaces you'd like to use. There'll be a blackboard in the info hub and probably some stickies or paper of some sorts where you can stick up what you'd like to do if you haven't had an opportunity to do a session. So that might be something some people here would think about contributing to that. And we have had some amazing things happen, actually. That's how I met Leora, actually. A couple of years ago, she did a session on Tantra, which was my introduction to Tantra. And loads of other really constructive sessions have come through that. I only have one more hand up, which is Ken, our mascot again. Ken.
Yeah, well, obviously I won't be there this year, but from all of these things, and I posted something there. I hope this doesn't come across as sexist. Where do you find all these amazing women? They are incredible. They're inspiring. And I think that you and it'd take a lot of work to do this. I think we could do a collaborative workshop on music, because between the two of us, we know a lot. We know about a lot of stuff that covers a lot of different areas. I mean, it would be wonderful if somebody like Ian Telfer or Maddie Pryor was coming to this thing, but I know we can't really expect that. Or John Tams. I mean, the list is long, you know it as well as I do. Or even, I would, if I ever got the chance to meet Kamala Harris, I would tell her about this. I really would. I don't know if I will, but I bet if I worked on it, I could probably do it. I don't know. She really has kind of taken some of the edge off my personal misery. I did not expect that. It's very odd. I did not expect that. She's no radical, but I think she's honest. She's a jazz fan. I don't know much about that, but I saw some report on Facebook where she was in a record store and bought Charlie Mingus albums. I mean,
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, feel free to invite anyone you'd like to Campout, and maybe when you make it over, we can do a collaborative session and invite the doyens of the folk music world to attend and have a roundtable discussion about that. Possibly, there's loads of things we can do. Thank you for your...
I will continue to discuss that with you. Yes, we'll have to do it somehow. We can get a grant to do it. Lord knows how, but
yeah. Thank you, everyone. If there are no more questions or points to add, thank you very much for coming. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's inspired you and given you some background to what we're up to. And feel free to keep asking any questions you want on the Campfire Network, campfireconvention.network, and any other updates. Keep a lookout for an updated program. There are still a couple of things to confirm, which I've been working on. And great to see you all. Thanks for being part of this. Look forward to seeing you in the field. Love to you all.